Welcome to the Bare Metal Cyber CISO Prepcast. This series helps you prepare for the exam with focused explanations and practical context. Welcome to the Bare Metal Cybersecurity CISO Prepcast. This series helps you prepare for the exam with focused explanations and practical context. Responding effectively to audit findings is a core responsibility for security executives and a critical part of any mature information security program. The purpose of audit findings response is not just to satisfy auditors, but to ensure that meaningful action is taken to correct weaknesses, close compliance gaps, and reduce risk exposure. By addressing findings quickly and thoroughly, organizations demonstrate accountability to internal stakeholders, regulators, and external assessors. A structured response process helps prevent recurrence of issues, mitigates the potential for reputational damage, and avoids escalated scrutiny from oversight bodies. When handled well, audit findings can also strengthen the organization's credibility and show leadership in governance maturity. Effective follow-up signals that the organization views audits as an opportunity to improve rather than as a checklist obligation. Classifying audit findings correctly is essential for prioritization and response planning. It begins with distinguishing between observations, formal findings, and material weaknesses. Observations are often low-priority notes that do not indicate a control failure, but may suggest areas for enhancement. Findings typically indicate that a control has not been implemented as expected or that a process has broken down. Material weaknesses are the most severe and suggest a deficiency that could significantly affect the organization's ability to manage risk or comply with requirements. Findings should also be categorized by severity, using risk-based labels such as critical, high, medium, or low. Grouping findings by control domains such as policy, identity and access management, or incident response helps assign remediation to the right stakeholders. It is also important to determine whether the issue arises from a flaw in control design or from poor execution. Finally, each finding should be linked to the affected business unit, system, or process to ensure accountability and clear ownership. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other podcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Performing a root cause analysis for each finding adds depth and ensures that remediation efforts address the underlying problem. The audit response team must evaluate whether a finding stems from a process failure, a gap in policy, lack of oversight, or even cultural resistance. Contributing factors, such as staffing shortages or competing priorities, should also be investigated. Identifying patterns, such as repeated findings across departments or similarities with issues from past audits, may point to systemic issues. Control owners and subject matter experts must be engaged to validate the root cause analysis and provide insight into operational or technical constraints. Findings must be documented with clear, contextual information. This helps define what happened, why it happened, and what must change to prevent it from happening again. Documenting context also helps regulators and auditors understand the organization's good faith efforts during remediation reviews. Remediation planning begins with assigning ownership for each finding. Control owners or business unit leaders should be named as accountable parties and must be given deadlines for closure. Action plans must be defined with specific steps, clear metrics, and alignment with the control's original objectives. Fixes may include implementing new tools, rewriting procedures, adjusting configurations, or training staff. Remediation plans should be integrated into existing project management, change control, or operations workflows to ensure execution. Prioritization is key. Findings that represent regulatory noncompliance, significant operational risk, or data protection gaps must be addressed before those with minimal impact. Executive sponsorship may be required to allocate funding, adjust timelines, or overcome organizational resistance. When remediation affects cross-functional areas, the CISO must ensure coordination between technical, legal, and business teams to avoid delays or conflicting solutions. Communication is essential throughout the audit response process. Regular updates must be shared with internal stakeholders such as audit committees, legal teams, and compliance leaders. If external auditors need clarification, the CISO or audit coordinator should maintain an open line of communication to explain findings, remediation plans, or progress updates. Messaging to regulators or partners must reflect transparency, urgency, and commitment to remediation. Executive summaries should be prepared for senior leadership, highlighting risks, strategic implications, and progress on critical issues. Dashboards or audit trackers can help visualize progress, deadlines, and ownership. These visual tools also reinforce accountability and make it easier for executives to support resolution efforts. Tracking audit findings and documenting progress is critical for governance and future readiness. A centralized audit issue log or GRC platform should be used to record each finding, assign responsibility, and update status over time. Evidence of remediation must be collected and stored. This may include updated policies, screenshots of reconfigured systems, logs showing control activation, and test results. Where applicable, records of change control and executive approval must be retained. Closed findings should be archived with a summary of actions taken and final validation documentation. This archive not only supports future audits, but also demonstrates that the organization maintains a disciplined and evidence-based approach to governance. Validation is a necessary step before a finding can be officially closed. Controls must be retested to ensure they are working as intended after remediation. Internal audit or second-length assurance functions often perform this retesting. Performance metrics and test data should be used to verify improvement and show that the issue has been resolved. The methodology for retesting must be documented, including test scenarios, success criteria, and results. Importantly, validation must confirm that the fix addresses the root cause, not just the immediate symptom. If the control design remains flawed, or if process gaps are still present, the issue may reappear in future audits. Confirming effectiveness ensures that remediation is durable and contributes to a stronger control environment. Repeated findings or escalated issues require special attention. A finding that recurs across audits or departments is a signal of systemic failure. In such cases, the organization must reassess whether the control design is flawed, whether governance processes are ineffective, or whether cultural resistance is undermining enforcement. If high-risk findings remain unresolved for extended periods, they must be escalated to Executive Oversight Committee. Depending on the situation, escalation may also include legal review or regulatory notification. In some cases, persistent failures may indicate the need for disciplinary action, staffing changes, or revised organizational structures. All escalations should be documented and reflected in the risk register or governance dashboards to ensure full visibility. Audit findings are not just problems to be solved, they are also valuable sources of feedback for continuous improvement. Lessons learned during remediation should be used to update policies, refine training programs, and improve awareness campaigns. Findings can also highlight upstream process flaws that, if corrected, prevent similar issues in other areas. For example, a finding about access control in one system may lead to broader improvements in identity governance. The CISO should encourage cross-functional teams to apply audit lessons across geographies, departments, or business units. Performance data from remediation and validation efforts should inform future control design and audit preparation strategies. Integrating these lessons into the organization's information security management system reinforces a proactive, mature, and accountable security culture. On the CCSO exam, candidates should expect to encounter questions related to prioritizing, responding to, and closing audit findings. Scenarios may include determining which findings to remediate first, how to validate a fix, or how to communicate results to the board. Understanding terminology like root cause, remediation, control failure, and material weakness is essential. The exam emphasizes strategic oversight, so candidates must demonstrate how CISOs use audit findings to support executive decision-making, inform governance structures, and reinforce policy and compliance programs. Questions may also test a candidate's ability to handle delayed remediation or misaligned stakeholder accountability. Cross-domain integration is critical. Candidates must recognize how audit findings affect and are affected by risk, policy, operations, and compliance. The mastery of this topic prepares candidates to lead audit response efforts and drive meaningful security program evolution. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Bare Metal Cyber CISO Prepcast. For more episodes, tools, and study support, visit us at baremetalcyber.com.